Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the shocking twist where Sonny Corinthos emerges as the prime suspect in the mysterious shooting of Professor Henry Hank Dalton, sparking intense speculation across Port Charles. Sonny's fierce defense of Rocco ignites suspicion. In the electrifying November 19th episode, Sonny Corinthos unleashed his raw fury during a tense heart-to-heart with Rick Lansing, dissecting the nightmare engulfing young Rocco Falconeri. Rocco, Sonny's beloved grandson, faced a ruthless frame-up orchestrated by the cunning Professor Dalton, whose manipulative schemes threatened to derail Rocco's future in the most devastating way imaginable. Sonny painted a vivid picture of Dalton's betrayal, highlighting how the professor's fabricated evidence painted Rocco as a criminal mastermind, complete with forged documents and planted witnesses that could land the innocent teen behind bars for years. Rick, ever the pragmatic lawyer, absorbed Sonny's rage but issued a stark warning. Any impulsive move could shatter their meticulously crafted defense strategy, which hinged on exposing Dalton's web of lies through expert testimony and digital forensics. Yet Sonny's retort cut like a knife. No Dalton, no case, hanging in the air like a veiled threat, his eyes burning with the unyielding protectiveness that defines his character. This exchange wasn't just conversation. It was a powder keg, loaded with Sonny's history of safeguarding family at any cost, from underground deals to outright confrontations. The fatal shot, Sidwell's deadly intervention. As Sonny and Rick hashed out their strategy in hushed tones, fate or perhaps cold calculation intervened in the form of Jen Sidwell, the shadowy operative whose bullet silenced Dalton forever. Mere moments after Sonny's ominous words echoed through the room, Sidwell tracked the professor to a dimly lit alley near the docks, where Dalton was frantically deleting incriminating files from his laptop, unaware of the danger closing in. With precision honed from years in the criminal underworld, Sidwell fired a single, muffled shot from a silenced pistol, watching as Dalton crumpled lifelessly amid scattered papers, revealing his full plot against Rocco. Sidwell didn't stop there. He meticulously dragged the body to a stolen sedan, stuffing it into the trunk and dousing the area with bleach to erase any traces of his presence, all while muttering about tying up loose ends for powerful allies. This calculated hit transformed Dalton from a thorn in Sonny's side into a ghost, but the timing couldn't be more damning right on the heels of Sonny's public venting. Port Charles whispers are already swirling. Did Sonny tip off Sidwell, or was this pure coincidence in a town rife with vendettas? Sonny's notorious reputation fuels accusations. Sonny Corinthos isn't just a father and grandfather. He's a force of nature in Port Charles, renowned for his ironclad loyalty to kin that often blurs the line between protector and predator. His track record speaks volumes, from the brutal takedown of John Jagger Cates on the sprawling Quartermain estate, where Sonny cornered his rival amid manicured gardens and delivered a savage beatdown that left jaws dropped, to quieter eliminations whispered in backrooms. While Sonny typically delegates the grimmiest tasks to trusted enforcers like Jason Morgan, whose surgical efficiency handles hits with minimal mess, he occasionally rolls up his sleeves for personal scores. Imagine the scene: Sonny, sleeves stained with the Quartermain lawn's dew, standing over Kate as sirens wailed in the distance, a reminder that cross him or his family. And retribution follows swiftly, with Rocco's peril hitting so close to home, threatening jail time that could scar the boy's promising life. Eyes are inevitably turning to Sonny, whose love for his grandchildren is as legendary as his temper. Laura Collins caught in the crossfire. Enter Laura Collins, whose accidental discovery of Dalton's corpse promises to unravel a new layer of chaos in this unfolding saga. Picture Laura rummaging through her car's cluttered trunk after a long mayoral campaign day, only to unearth the professor's lifeless form, bloodied and bound, hidden among grocery bags and campaign flyers. Panic surges as she slams the trunk, her mind racing to Commissioner Anna Devane or Max Scorpio. But the damage is done. Witnesses spot her frantic calls, and the body lands squarely in her lap. This isn't random. Sidwell chose her vehicle deliberately, perhaps to frame a political foe or divert attention from the real culprits. Laura's ties to Sonny, forged through years of shared battles over family matters, suddenly paint her as an accomplice, her hands metaphorically dirty despite her innocence. Adding fuel to the fire, Ezra Boyle, the bitter election loser, lurks in the shadows, poised to spin this into a conspiracy tale for tabloids and talk shows alike. Rick's dilemma and mounting questions. Rick Lansing now faces an unenviable crossroads, torn between loyalty to Sonny and the glaring spotlight of scrutiny. As Sonny's offhand no Dalton, no case comment replays in his mind, Rick must brace for interrogations from authorities sniffing around their private chat. Will he crack under pressure, revealing just how heated the discussion grew, or stonewall to protect his client? Sonny's hints weren't subtle. He mused aloud about Dalton's downfall, even joking about accidents befalling nuisances, all while pacing like a caged lion. This could fracture their alliance, with Rick demanding answers. Did Sonny orchestrate the hit through back channels? Port Charles PD, led by sharp-eyed detectives, will connect the dots: motive, opportunity, and those damning words potentially slapping cuffs on the mob kingpin. Yet Sonny's web of alibis, from verified meetings to loyal witnesses, might just keep him one step ahead, turning suspicion into a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Deeper implications for Port Charles power plays. This scandal ripples far beyond one shooting, reshaping alliances and igniting turf wars across the city. Sonny's suspected involvement could rally his enemies. Think Ava Jerome plotting revenge, or Valentin Casadini stirring pots for a united front against him. Meanwhile, Rocco's case evaporates without Dalton's testimony, freeing the teen but leaving scars on family bonds strained by secrets. Laura's mayoral grip weakens as Boyle campaigns on crooked leadership, forcing her into damage control mode with public pleas for calm. Sidwell vanishes into the ether, but his employers, perhaps tied to bigger syndicates, watch closely, ready to exploit the vacuum. For fans, this arc delivers pulse-pounding drama. Will Sonny dodge the noose again, or has his protective instincts finally backfired spectacularly? Next, we will learn about the horrifying crisis engulfing Mayor Laura Collins, a bullet-riddled corpse stuffed in her car trunk that's set to shatter her fresh re-election victory. General Hospital has unleashed a bombshell plotline where Port Charles iron-willed Mayor Laura Collins stumbles into a blood-chilling discovery that threatens to dismantle her hard-fought political comeback. Fresh from trouncing corrupt rival Ezra Boyle at the polls, Laura pops open her vehicle's trunk expecting routine errands, only to confront the rigid, gore-streaked remains of Professor Hank Dalton, crammed beside her roadside flares and jumper cables. This macabre setup screams deliberate sabotage, masterminded by the ruthless Jen Sidwell, a shadowy operative safeguarding his clandestine biotech syndicate from collapse. Sidwell executed Dalton with a single, merciless shot to the chest in the professor's cluttered study, where blueprints for illicit neural enhancers littered the floor. Experiments linking Dalton, the enigmatic Britt Westburn, and an unidentified kingpin. The professor's erratic behavior, including staging a fake lab sabotage to cover embezzlement, had already ignited alarms at Port Charles University, drawing razor-sharp scrutiny from PCPD detectives and WSB operatives embedded in the city. Sidwell's cold calculus repurposed the body to incinerate Laura's credibility, exploiting her recent public meltdown to paint her as a vengeful killer. Flashback to the powder keg clash that primed this trap on a chaotic election day at the bustling polling center. Arrogant Professor Dalton, with his trademark sneer, cornered Laura amid throngs of supporters, gloating over his fabricated charges against her grandson Rocco Falceroni. The innocent kid, barely out of high school, now huddles in a grim juvenile facility, bombarded by counselors and staring down decades for alleged felony destruction at Dalton's high-tech Pew workspace filled with volatile prototypes. Laura, channeling grandmotherly wrath honed from decades of family battles, exploded in righteous indignation, labeling Dalton a venomous fraud whose schemes would crumble under scrutiny. Her voice thundered through the crowd as she swore he'd pay dearly, then punctuated her rage with a sharp, resounding slap that echoed like a campaign thunderclap. Spectators erupted in cheers, interpreting it as fearless advocacy for youth against institutional bullies, boosting her voter surge. Legally, though, that contact registers as battery, amplified by dual public oaths of confrontation witnesses swore to in affidavits. Voters' adoration aside, this outburst now loops endlessly in news clips, aligning perfectly with Dalton's sudden vanishing act and gruesome reappearance. Unpacking Sidwell's venomous hit, the slaying erupted in Dalton's lavish brownstone amid flickering computer screens displaying gene splicing data that could rewrite human cognition or weaponize it. Sidwell, stakes deep in the venture-funding black market trials, didn't flinch as he fired, the silencer muffled pop blending with city sirens outside. Britt Westburn, frozen in the corner clutching a vile sample, became the lone observer to this execution-style hit, her pulse racing from Sidwell's growled ultimatum. Cross him, and your neck's in a shallow grave. Beyond the threat, Britt's silence stems from raw survival instinct. Their operation supplies her sole antidote to Huntington's relentless advance, a cutting-edge inhibitor cocktail that halts neural decay, averting seizures, memory blackouts, and paralysis that claimed her mother. Clinical logs Sidwell flash detail Phase 3 results. 92% stabilization in test subjects. A godsend Britt can't risk losing amid Port Charles sparse medical resources. Sidwell's endgame brilliance? Dalton's corpse doubles as bait, targeting Laura's mayoral meddling that's torpedoed his waterfront empire bids repeatedly. Laura now sweats under an inferno of suspicion, her squeaky clean image cracking like fine china. By Friday's cliffhanger, she's white-knuckling the steering wheel in a dimly lit lot, hyperventilating over the trunk's foul stench mingling with her vanilla air freshener. A guttural shriek rips from her throat as Detective Nathan West materializes at her side window, flashlight piercing the gloom, unaware of the cadaver inches away. Her election night barbs would have sufficed for a warrant, but corpse in trunk for N6 bullet trajectory. Livor Mortis timing scream frame up tailored to her profile. PCPD's holiday slim schedule, just 3 episodes amid Thanksgiving feasts, might postpone the bracelet ritual till December, but cuffs feel imminent with ballistics pending. Laura's battle-scarred resume doesn't help. She's dispatched foes with firearms during Casa Dini sieges, Eurasian black ops, and island standoffs, her marksmanship whispered in veteran cop circles. Yet pragmatism screams innocent she toppled Boyle's dirty machine to safeguard reforms like youth job programs, offing Dalton invites federal probes into her tenure. Sidwell banks on optics over alibis, especially since Laura's blocked his peer seizures via eminent domain smackdowns and Measure C defeats, preserving Sonny Corinthos docs from gentrified laundering fronts. Sidwell's gambit strikes dual blows, vaporizing Dalton's hothead leaks that nearly blew their op-think prototype spills, alerting FBI biochemists and ousting Laura. Sonny's firewall against municipal overreach. Incarcerated, she'd watch Boyle slither into the mayor's suite, his ledger stuffed with Sidwell's bribes, fast-tracking reasonings for super-react marinas, veiling cartel freighters. Planted proof looms. Sidwell pockets the engraved Glock, its suppressor threads matching casings at Dalton's scene. Ideal for slipping into Laura's City Hall desk amid zoning veto stamps or her lakeside cottage's gun cabinet, stocked with heirloom revolvers. Port Charles buzz in Sidwell's overlord commands WSB defectors feeding doctor tips, like anonymous calls tracing Dalton's phone to Laura's veto speeches. Britt's torment deepens, lab surveillance catches her pilfering extra doses, paranoia mounting as Huntington's twitches betray composure. Allies mobilize in the frenzy. Psychiatrist Kevin Collins, Laura's anchor through psychotic breaks and resurrections, rallies character witnesses from shrinks, attesting her post-slap composure. Sonny, radar-pinging setups, cues Jason Morgan to shadow Sidwell's armored SUVs to nondescript bunkers posing as pew extensions, unearthing cryogenic storage for serum batches. Rocco, bunked with hardened teens, smuggles sketches of Dalton's rigged lab motion sensors, faked for insurance fraud fueling defense angles. Britt wrestles demons, her Nathan Brotherhood tempting confession, amid sibling coffee runs, One stuttered hint could unravel threads. Boyle's camp pushes recount chaos, alleging ballot stuffing, laced with Dalton murder smears to void Laura's plurality. The docks war fuels Sidwell's vendetta, his consortium eyeing Crane monopolies for smuggling exotics under Echo Resort shells, clashing Sonny's Union steel hulls sustaining hundreds. Laura's ordinances locked in worker protections, dooming developer kickbacks. Twists brew. Dalton's vandalism hoax masked side hustle gene thefts for rivals, igniting Sidwell's fury. Britt's regimen shines in dossiers patients logging euphoria highs from septic boosts. Addiction risks skyrocketing. Est ripples electrify governance. Alexis Davis commandeers council probes into Sidwell PACs disguised as EdTech donors. Dante clashes with Nathan on case leads. Badge straining against blood ties. Quartermain Thanksgiving devolves into pie-throwing theories. Post-feast tribunals pit Laura's tearful denials against mismatched TOD reports. Sidwell savors scotch in penthouses, but Britt's vile hoarding foreshadows defection. Next, we will learn about the shocking twists surrounding Harrison Chase's crumbling world and his risky path to justice in Port Charles. Fans of General Hospital have been buzzing with worry over Harrison Chase's recent lack of spotlight, as the once heroic detective seems adrift in a sea of personal tragedies and family feuds that threaten to redefine his legacy. Over the past 18 months, Chase's life has unraveled like a tightly wound thread pulled loose, starting with the agonizing decline of his father, Gregory Chase, whose battle with a mysterious illness gripped viewers with raw emotion before his sudden passing the very day after Chase's heartfelt wedding to Brooklyn Quartermain. This double blow forced newlyweds Chase and Brooklyn into an unexpected role as temporary guardians for little Violet Finn, when Chase's brother, Hamilton Finn, spiraled into alcoholism amid his grief, turning their honeymoon bliss into a chaotic family crisis. Adding layers of heartbreak, Chase discovered his own infertility during a routine medical checkup that shattered his dreams of fatherhood, only to learn shortly after that Brooklyn had secretly given birth as a teen to a child with Dante Falconeri, a revelation that tested the foundations of their fresh marriage. Now, as tensions explode between Willow Tate and Michael Corinthos, Chase finds his loyalties divided, standing firmly with Willow while his wife remains steadfastly protective of her kin, creating invisible fault lines in their union. In a bold move, Chase is diving headfirst into the explosive investigation of Drew Kane's mysterious shooting, bypassing official channels with his own unorthodox tactics that could alienate his closest allies and paint him as a lone wolf in Port Charles. Eyewitness accounts suggest the bullet came from an unexpected angle near the waterfront docks, where shadowy figures were spotted just before the incident, fueling Chase's suspicion that corporate rivals or hidden Quartermain enemies are involved. His methods interrogating suspects off the record, tailing Michael in the dead of night, and piecing together overlooked security footage might uncover a web of deceit linking the shooting to the ongoing nurses' ball preparations gone awry. Yet, this vigilante approach risks clashing with Police Commissioner Anna Devane's strict protocols, potentially costing Chase his badge and straining his bond with Dante, who values procedure above all. As Chase pores over crime scene photos late into the night, whispering theories to a skeptical Brooklyn, viewers can't help but wonder if his quest for truth will expose a traitor within the Corinthos circle or backfire spectacularly, leaving him isolated from the very family he's sworn to protect. Chase's brewing conflict with Michael Corinthos simmers like a pot ready to boil over, rooted in deep-seated distrust over Willow's safety amid Michael's aggressive business maneuvers that some whisper border on obsession. During a tense confrontation at the Metro Court, Chase accused Michael of prioritizing ELQ Empire games over Willow's fragile recovery from her cancer battle, his voice laced with barely contained fury as he slammed his fist on the table, demanding Michael back off. Flashbacks reveal Chase's protective instincts ignited when he first saw bruises on Willow's arms, dismissed by Michael as training accidents, prompting Chase to secretly install a tracker on her phone for her own good, or so he justifies. This personal vendetta could fracture the fragile peace Chase and Brooklyn forged after their last heated discussion, where they vowed to honor each other's viewpoints despite the rift. But Chase's darkening resolve hints at retaliation, perhaps leaking Michael's shady deals to the press or rallying Sasha Gilmore against him. If Chase crosses into morally gray territory, like fabricating evidence to frame Michael, it could shatter Brooklyn's admiration for her principled husband, forcing her to choose between blood ties and marital vows in a drama that echoes the town's classic good versus evil sagas. Brooklyn Quartermain lies bedridden, her face pale with anguish over her father Ned Quartermain's life-threatening heart attack, triggered by a vicious argument over ELQ stocks that left him clutching his chest on the Quartermain mansion floor. Paramedics rushed him to GH, where monitors beep erratically as Tracy hovers, barking orders at Dr. Portia Robinson for experimental treatments involving rare enzymes smuggled from overseas labs. In this vulnerable moment, Chase's fixation on reigniting the Michael feud feels like salt in an open wound, especially since their prior heart-to-heart ended on a note of mutual respect, Brooklyn acknowledging Chase's justice-driven core, while he embraced her unshakable family devotion. Yet, whispers from the nurse's station suggest Chase is plotting a private sting operation against Michael, enlisting Dex Heller's street smarts for intel on Willow's whereabouts, which could drag Brooklyn into the crossfire if her family uncovers the betrayal. Her loyalty, forged in years of Quartermain battles from corporate takeovers to illicit affairs, runs deeper than ocean trenches. But Chase's potential slide into ruthlessness might force her to view him through new, wary eyes, eroding the trust that bound them at their Metro Court wedding. Fans speculate this could culminate in an explosive courtroom scene where Brooklyn testifies against Chase's methods, highlighting how love and justice collide in Port Charles' unforgiving arena. General Hospital's storytelling playbook often doles out these quieter interludes for fan-favorite characters like Chase after whirlwind arcs, allowing breathers that mirror real-life recovery while subtly seeding blockbuster returns. Recall how Chase's tenure exploded with Gregory's ALS diagnosis storyline, complete with tear-jerking family vigils at the park and Finn's rock-bottom bar scenes that humanized the brothers' bond, followed by the infertility bombshell delivered in a sterile doctor's office amid flickering fluorescent lights. This current downtime isn't neglect, but a classic GH breather, akin to Jason Morgan's off-screen healings or Sonny's meditative phases atop his island cliff, giving writers space to craft seismic shifts like a surprise Quartermain air twist or Chase uncovering his own hidden paternity link to the Spencers. Spoiler leaks hint at Chase mentoring a rookie cop with a shady past, injecting mentorship drama while he juggles Violet's bedtime stories and Brooklyn's emotional support calls from the hospital waiting room. Far from sidelining him, this phase builds anticipation, ensuring Chase's routine patrols along the pier hide clues to a vendetta plot that could entangle the Casadinis, promising the high-stakes action devotees crave without rushing his evolution. Prepare for a seismic plot twist as Chase teeters on the edge of darkness, his moral compass wobbling under grief's weight. Though not into full villainy, but a nuanced anti-hero arc ripe with redemption potential. Lingering glances at his ex-wife, Sasha, during a chance encounter at Kelly's diner where they shared coffee, and unresolved tension spark rumors of emotional infidelity, amplified by a dream sequence where Chase envisions abandoning Brooklyn for a life unburdened by Port Charles chaos. His fears drive to shield Willow manifests in clandestine meetings at the cabin outskirts, where he coaches her on escape plans if Michael's control tightens, risking his marriage vows in a parallel to Finn's past indiscretions that cost him Violet temporarily. Yet, unlike Drew Kane's calculated betrayals involving black market arms deals and election tampering, Chase's missteps stem from noble intent twisted by loss, like anonymously tipping off the PCPD about Michael's warehouse shipments without hard proof. This taint might alienate fans momentarily, evoking backlash scene with Franco Baldwin's redemption struggles. But GH excels at comebacks and vision, Chase confessing all to Brooklyn in a rain-soaked graveyard confession, rebuilding stronger amid therapy sessions with Dr. Kevin Collins. His principled core, honed by years patrolling foggy docks and cracking cold cases like the annual Haunted Star murders guarantees a triumphant return, solidifying him as Port Charles' unyielding guardian angel amid brewing storms.